Hey Queen, welcome back to the show. Today's episode is so exciting because I am sharing the mic today. You guys know I don't do a ton of interview episodes, so when I do, you know it is going to be juicy. Today, I am bringing you guys Melodie Bishop, and she is just such an amazing, incredible human that I know that you guys are going to fall absolutely in love with because she's just our girl. Melodie and I have so much in common that you guys are going to get to hear today on the episode. She is the founder of the Abundant MomLife LLC and a productivity coach for moms in network marketing. So like I said, she is our girl. She's a former teacher, top 1% network marketer, turned best-selling author, turned entrepreneur and podcaster. Wow. Come on, y'all. She's a boy mom of two who loves Jesus, singing, the ocean, and a nice hot cup of coffee. Her mission is to help network marketing mamas learn how to grow successful and sustainable business and mom life without the hustle and overwhelm. I mean, hello. Melodie and I are soul sisters. Clearly. She is the host of the Abundant Mom Life for Network Marketers show, and it is a top-ranked podcast for Christian moms in network marketing. So I absolutely know if you love this show, then you are going to love Melodie so much. She has so much value that she's going to be bringing to us today. We're going to be chatting about goal setting, which I think this is the perfect time for us to be digging into this. And she has such an amazing and unique take on goal setting. You guys know that I am not a fan of doing things the world's way, that I like to grow against the grain. And Melodie takes a common concept of smart goal planning and goal setting and flips it on its head and does it in a way that just makes sense. So I cannot wait for you guys to dig into this episode. You're going to love it. Don't forget, if you resonate with what you're hearing on today's show, a lot of what we're going to be doing in the SOS Mastermind, Sold Out Sales Mastermind, is going to be connected to this kind of stuff. So you definitely want to get in. You want to apply immediately because we're starting super soon. Spots are limited. Go to thetiffanywen.com/mastermind to get more info on what all this mastermind entails. 10 weeks with me and a small group of like-minded women growing and glowing and keeping our focus on doing this business and growing this business in a way that is not only going to bring more dollars into your pocket, but is also going to fill your soul. So thetiffanywen.com/mastermind. Without further ado, here we go with today's episode. Fix that crown, queen. Take a seat on that throne. Let's do it. Hey, queen. Welcome to the Cash In on Confidence podcast, the show for social sellers who want to make a big impact and income. We are on a mission to transform the network marketing space by challenging societal standards and industry norms. I'm Tiffany Wynn. After spending years running circles in my business, I finally ditched the grind for grace and built a multiple six-figure social selling empire. Around here, we mix faith with action to build businesses that pursue our purpose, use our gifts for glory, and align with our soul goals. If you're ready to grow against the grain and go from overwhelmed to overflowing, uncertain to unstoppable, striving to thriving, and turn that next level confidence into cash, then take a seat on that throne and fix your crown, queen, because we're about to pray, slay, and get paid. Hey, queens, welcome back to the Cash In on Confidence podcast. I am super excited for today's episode because today is a special guest episode. So we have the amazing Melodie Bishop with us today. She is the host of the Abundant Mom Life for Network Marketers podcast. So if you heard that title, you know that she is our girl. She is right up the alley for all the amazing things that we love to talk about here on this show. And I am just super excited to dive into more of what Melodie has to share with us on living an abundant mom life. I know that so many of you that listen are moms, and we just love to figure out and learn more about how we can navigate this world of being a mom and running a business and do it in a way that gives us abundance, so to speak. So welcome to the show, Melodie. I'm super excited to have you.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. And I'm so excited to be on this show and to share with your audience today.
Great. Well, can you just start off by telling us a little bit more about yourself, your network marketing journey, and what led you to being in this place where you're now helping other women with navigating this crazy space?
Absolutely. So I'm a former music teacher turned network marketer. And it's funny because I always say that I didn't find network marketing found me, because I never went out looking for it. I had never, ever really bought anything from a network marketing company. I had never hosted a party and all of those things. And I was in the middle of changing careers, and God was using me in a different way in my ministry. At that time, I was actually working at a church as the music director. I had stepped down from teaching prior to that because I wanted to be able to stay home with my kids, and even working part-time as a teacher still wasn't quite cutting it. So I had looked for other options. I had my own private voice studio, and then that was out of my house. So I had to stop doing that for a little while because I had a toddler, and that didn't really work out well together. So I was working at the church, and they had to let me go because they could no longer afford to pay. And I was still doing it volunteer for a bit. And so I was really in this desert wasteland. We're trying to figure out where God was leading me to. And lo and behold, I had a friend, and both of our boys went to the same preschool together. So we used to chat and talk, and she was with a direct sales company, and I really liked her products that she carried with her. And I commented on it because I love organization. And this was an organization company, my first company. So I hosted an online party. And right after that, I decided to join because I said, what the heck? I still have bills to pay, and I want to be able to stay home with my kids. And I always thought that in the beginning, I thought that this would sort of just be something that I would do to bring in some income, until something that made more sense based on my giftings came along. And God said, girlfriend, it's time for something new. You know, that scripture that he's doing a new thing, and he'll do that so many different seasons and pivots in your life. You just have to be open and ready. But when I first started, I really just had the why of being able to pay my bills, stay home with the kids, have a flexible career and it wasn't until God revealed to me that he had closed the door on one ministry and opened the door to a whole new ministry, and that he was still using my giftings and my talents to reach other people, not just for my business, but also to be kingdom building, that my business began to explode. So I've been able to see growing a business and having it grow quickly. And then I've also been able to see what it looks like when you get to the top from sort of a bird's eye view as a top 1% network marketer. And the two main things that I noticed along my 7 years with that company is there were two big struggles. The first struggle was, as you're growing your business, was especially moms. They're mostly moms, and I speak to moms, but anybody can relate to this. We're really having a hard time managing their work at home mom life, managing their time, trying to figure out how to make time for what matters most, figuring out how to work in their business, but also not sacrifice their family time and self-care. This was a huge struggle. And I'm sure many of you can relate and probably struggle with it. We're always in a constant state of perpetual pivots, I call it, as work at home moms. Then the other side, flip side of the coin, is once I got to the top and I was around other executive leaders, I noticed that they were burnt out. beyond compare. The majority of them were burnt out. And the reason being because they hadn't learned how to put systems into place and automate certain aspects of their business. And some of them hadn't learned how to manage their time yet. Others had, but they hadn't gone further with their team building. And they felt like they were constantly on their phone, constantly in their DMs, answering messages, answering the same questions over and over again, having to help, lead people by the hand one-on-one. And I began to notice that they just didn't have these systems in place that I had put in place and was building with my team across the past, few years. So those were the two main things that I saw as struggles. And those were the two things that I actually excel with. We all have different strengths. So I decided when I stepped out, when God told me to step down from that company and step out to build my own business, to really create a way to help moms in those two different phases of their business to master their productivity, but also master their team building and learn how to build systems so that they are not a slave to the hustle in their business, and they can have a successful and sustainable business while also having a wonderful, abundant mom life at the same time.
Oh my gosh, you are speaking my language right now. I love everything about that. I can relate to so much of that and relate to, working your way to the top so hard and getting there and burning yourself out to the point where you're like, was it worth it? And I know that is the same story for so many women in this space, and especially moms. And I one thing that I talk about a lot is how a lot of the times we come up with these whys in our business. And for a lot of moms, it's our kids, right? We say our kids are our why, and that's why we're doing this. But then we get there and we're like, I just burnt myself out so hard trying to get to the top. And now I'm struggling with this why, my kids, because I am burnt out, right? And so you're ignoring your kids, you're on your phone 24/7. And the whole reason that you started this is starting to slip away from you. So I think that is so great that you have really honed in on what your gift is and helping simplify things, because that is something that I'm super passionate about as well. And I just love that you have such great systems for your business and that you're sharing those things. So I know one of your other strengths is goal setting and just planning out how you're going to get to the desires of your heart and reach these things that you really want to accomplish. And you kind of have like a 4-step roadmap for that, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Awesome. Amazing. So I would love if you would share a little bit more about that with us. Like when you're ready to sit down and do some goal planning, where do you begin? Where do we even start when we're trying to get clear on our goals?
Yeah. That is a great question, Tiffany. And one of the things I've noticed in working with my team and working with my clients is everyone recognizes the importance of goal setting. We all know that we need to have goals, but I feel that a lot of people get stuck in the process of not just creating goals for their life and their business, but creating purposeful and meaningful and intentional goals. Because if you create goals, but they're not purposeful, they're not meaningful, they're not intentional, then you're going to continue to hit those walls as you're trying to reach those goals, because you're not going to be able to create a roadmap. You're not going to be able to create a plan with action steps to help you get there. And you're just going to continue to feel frustrated and discouraged. So the first thing that I want to recommend is that you have to think of your goals, your big goals, as sort of like a GPS. So your big goals are the destination that you are trying to get to when you put that, that destination, all that information into your GPS. So you're not going to be able to figure out how to get where you're going until you know where you're going. So, and even at that, when you put that information into the GPS, you have to make sure you put in the exact address, You got to add in that state and that zip code, or you could be going to a whole different destination. So as you goal plan, you really have to learn and be committed to the process of creating those purposeful goals. And you want to start by planning in reverse, starting with that destination where you know you're going to, and then you're going to break it down. So you want to have SMART goals. We've heard this before. It's a little bit different the way that I'm going to share it, but you want to make sure that your big goals are SMART goals. So what does that mean? They have to be specific. This is probably the number one thing that I hear all the time when I ask people, so what are your goals? They tell me these general goals. I want to grow my business. I want to have new teammates. I want to bring home more money in my paycheck. You know, I want to have more successful parties. I want to get better at this, at that. They don't put a number on it. You have to make sure that you put a number on it. Okay, so you want to grow your team by how much? Maybe you want to double your lineage. Maybe you want to bring in 10 new teammates each month. You want to make more in your business. How much do you want to make? Do you want to make $1,000 every month? Take home pay? Maybe you're already making that. Maybe you want to bump to the next level of 3,000. Maybe you're already making that. Put a number on it. Don't be so general. That is the worst thing that you can do. You are not going to be able to hit a general goal. You're not going to be able to break it down. You want to make sure that it's measurable. So you want to be able to track it. You have to be able to track your goal. And being able to do that in a specific way helps you to look back and see how you're doing with your progress so that you can reflect and tweak and pivot along the way if necessary. Actionable. So it has to be something that you can break down into actionable steps so that you can take these actions and actually meet your goal. It has to be relatable. Listen, you're going to hear from everybody and their mother all the different ways you can build your business, and there's no one size fits all way to build your business. Sure, there are certain strategies and skills that will help build your business stronger and faster, but you have to find what resonates and is authentic to you. So don't just copy what someone else is telling you to do. You have to figure out what resonates with you, what aligns with how you want your business to grow, what the type of business you want to have, the life you want to live, and then you need to discard anything that does not align with you. So it has to be relatable. Otherwise, you are not going to have the passion and the excitement and the motivation that you need to be able to reach those goals if it doesn't relate to you. And time bound, you have to put a time on that goal. And listen, once you get to that time, that date, I'm going to finish, I'm going to complete, I'm going to accomplish this goal by this date. If it's not accomplished by then, it's okay. You can go ahead and bump it to the next quarter, but you have to have some sort of accountability. Also, going back to measurable, if you have a date on that goal. So let's say, for example, you want to double your lineage in the next 3 months. So then you can say, okay, this is my lineage now. How many people do I need to bring in each month? Our team needs to bring in each month over the next 3 months in order to reach this goal. And then you can begin to break that down and figure out how you're going to get there. But you're not able to track that or measure that very well if you don't have a time-bound goal. You're going to complete this goal by this date, by this time. And then you want to brain dump those SMART goals into 3 buckets in order to have a healthy business overall. And these 3 buckets are your personal business goals, and you want that big goal to be income focused, because that's what's really going to make the most, have the most value in your business. And that's what's going to motivate you the most, is bringing in more income. Team building goals. So you want that to be lineage focused, because whatever you're doing in your business, don't just focus on you, but focus on how you can help your whole team, your whole lineage grow, because that will help your business grow from the bottom up and give you a nice, strong business overall. And a professional development goal. Listen, you have to make learning a regular part of your business, because if you don't, you're not going to know what you don't know. You might find something that, like, hey, this really works works for me. I think I should start doing this. And you're also not going to learn how to master those skills that need work if you're not continually learning how to do so, which saves you time in the long run when you can learn how to simplify and systemize and optimize your business. And you can't do that if you're not making professional development a regular part of your business. Then you want to choose your prioritized top 3 SMART goals from that brain dump list, 1 from each bucket for the year. And then the rest that you brain dumped, you can tuck those aside to reconsider, when those goals have been accomplished and you can work on new big goals.
So good. I am all about the practical with the mindset. So the personal development piece, adding that into that whole practical strategy of goal planning is so good. I've always heard SMART goals explained differently than what you just explained them, and I always had a hard time getting down with it. But the way that you broke that down and you switched up some of those letters that are different than the typical SMART goals that we're used to hearing, I love that you included to make it relatable. That R piece, being relatable, is so important, I think. Because like you said, it's not a one size fits all business. And so I am like, okay, I can get down with this type of SMART goal planning, because this is the parts that you shared are exactly the pieces that we need when we're planning goals. The relatability of the goal being something that we can connect with ourselves, and the fact that it needs to be action-based and something that we can actually apply into our businesses. I mean, it's just so good. I am loving it. So, okay. So we have our SMART goals, right? So we know what we're doing and we know where we're going. What's the next steps for us after that?
Yeah. So this is not your normal goal planning process, but you want to really brainstorm your purposeful goal plan. So some of these things you've heard before, but there's a piece added in here that is really, really important. So first, you brainstorm your purposeful goals. Now, what are purposeful goals? Basically, they're solutions-based goals. Okay. And I mean, we can go even further into that, but for the most part, you want to make sure that you have solutions-based goals. So what is a solution-based goal? Well, first you need to identify the problem or problems that are standing in your way from reaching your big goal. Then you want to plan out an action-based solutions to help you reach that goal. And then the third piece that people always leave out, not everyone, but most people leave out, probably because this is the least, enjoyable piece of goal planning, is to prepare for roadblocks along the way. You have to say, okay, here are my goals. Now I need to make sure that I'm going to identify any problems that might be standing in my way, plan out the action-based solutions. And then I take a step further and say to myself, okay, what are some of the roadblocks that are standing in my way from reaching these goals? So for example, let's say you tell yourself, one of my goals is I need to be able, in order to work on these other big goals, I need to put more time in my day of working. So maybe you want to add another power hour into your day, but you say to yourself, I don't have any time to add another power hour into my day. So there's a roadblock, right? So then you have to ask yourself, because you are identifying the problem, now you have to solve it. Solution-based goal planning. You have to say, well, how can I solve that roadblock? Well, maybe you're going to get up an hour earlier every day. And then you say to yourself, but I can't get up an hour earlier every day. There's another roadblock. How are you going to solve that roadblock? Well, maybe you are going to go to bed an hour earlier each night. Or maybe in order to solve that, you're going to sit back and you're going to say, what can I swap and subtract from my day so I can make the room in my day to have another power hour to work my business so I can reach my big goals. So that's the first part. Then you want to ask yourself intentional discovery questions to help you gain clarity, reveal blind spots that you might have along the way, and then, of course, overcome any roadblocks that are going to arise, because you will have roadblocks. Don't just sit back and be like, this is going to be smooth sailing. I've got my plan. It's all good. No, you're going to have roadblocks along the way. And if you don't prepare for them, and if you don't say, hey, you know what, this is solutions-based, I love Marie Forleo. She says everything is figure outable. Everything is figure outable. You're going to have a solutions-based mindset. Then you'll be able to overcome those roadblocks instead of continuing to get stuck along your journey in your business trying to reach your goals. And then the third piece is you want to use these questions, these intentional discovery questions, to really help guide you along the way to uncover areas that need improvement. Okay. Then you need to, ask yourself, what do you need to stop doing? And what do you need to start doing in your business to break through that stuck? And I actually have a free resource and training that I'll share more about at the end that really will help you walk through step by step through this process of this kind of like this discovery process to be able to figure out what roadblocks might pop up and how to solve those roadblocks along the way.
Oh my gosh, I am so locked into this and I am like ready to go do this for myself. This is so good. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's say we have done all of these things. And so we know where we're going. We know what we need to do to get there. We know how to navigate any roadblocks that might come up and just be ready for this. But what do you do when it's time to actually plan this? I know you said that you kind of plan in quarterly goals. So how do you break that down? How do you reverse engineer once you know what you're going for, and what does that look like?
Yeah, once you've been through that discovery process, you can begin to break it down. I like it, break it down. I like to dance, so break it down quarterly. So again, quarterly, you want to plan. I recommend that you do what works for you, but I recommend you plan your goals 90 days at a time. So every 90 days, you can reevaluate at the end of that quarter, and then decide if you need more time to work on those goals and simply bump it to the next quarter. But the reason why I recommend you do it in a 90-day chunk is because otherwise, if we look at the whole year and we try to plan out the whole year, we lose focus. And we're going to need to tweak things along the way. You're going to learn things. You're going to discover things. You're going to figure out those blind spots. You're going to have to, as you work on these goals, you're going to end up tweaking them along the way as you go through that process and begin to evolve on that process and get better at goal planning. So I really highly recommend that you focus on that 90-day chunk, that quarterly chunk at a time. So while you're doing that, you're going to break those goals down into hunks, chunks, and bites. So you're going to choose one hunk goal from each bucket. Remember, that's your personal business goal, your team building goal, and your professional development goal buckets. And under each hunk goal, you're going to brain dump your weekly chunks goals. So then I recommend every Sunday night or Monday morning, you want to plan your week in advance so that you can really better focus on your work blocks during the week. Because what happens if we don't plan in advance? Sure, you're going to have to sit down. It's going to take you some time, but you want to make that a habit, a routine, be disciplined to do that, because it's going to save you so much time during the week if you do that ahead of time. And yes, you can tweak, you can change things along the way, because every morning I sit down, I look at what I have planned out for the day. I ask myself, is this going to work for today? Do I need to adjust it? And then you can adjust it as you need to. But otherwise, if you don't do this, what happens is, and we're all guilty, we sit down to get our work done when we can have our work block, life is going on around us. The kids are at school. We need to really focus. And we spend the first 20 minutes just trying to figure out what in the world we're going to do that day in our business. So you need to have a plan. You need to make sure that you plan it out ahead of time. It will save you so much time and sanity, so you can really make the most of your work block when you do sit down. Then you're going to use your weekly chunks brain dump list. I love to brain dump to pick your top 3 prioritized goals for the week. And you're going to write those down in your planner. Okay. So now you have your 3 goals for the week. They're prioritized. They're written down in your planner. You picked one from each bucket. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you're prioritizing your top 3 daily action steps at the start of each day, because you're going to brain dump under each of those weekly goals all the little action steps that you need to work on to accomplish those goals. And if you have room in your planner, you can do it right there, or you can use a separate sheet of paper. Maybe you use like a digital Trello board, but you want to make sure for each weekly goal, you are brain dumping all the little action step tasks that you need to complete. And then when you go to plan out your days, you don't have to just sit there and figure out what in the world you're going to do. All you do is you pick 3 action steps, prioritize by 3, okay? Plop it over into your day. And then once you've completed those 3 prioritized tasks first, those things that must be done that day, then you can go ahead, if you have more time, and pick 2, 3 more tasks from that brain dump list. And then you're going to work your way through that week. And then anything that you don't get to, you can then bump to the next week if you don't have enough time to work on those things that week. So it's all about brain dumping, breaking it down, and also making sure that you prioritize those tasks so that you're getting the most important things done in your week first.
I love it. Hunks, chunks, and bites. That's so good. And I use and teach something called soul systems, which I think that this type of goal planning will fit so well into soul systems. Soul systems is really just how to organize and plan out your day, your TMOs. And we use Trello for that. And this type of goal planning and breaking it down and reverse engineering those goals, this would work so beautifully with soul systems. And so I am super excited for everyone that is hearing this and all of our soul systems ladies. This is what we need. This is what we need. So good. I'm so excited. So I am just ready to go do this. But before we let you go, is there any other goal planning or success tips that you have that you could share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're goal planning, I always joke that if you're not tracking, you're slacking. If you're not tracking, you're slacking. You have to track your progress somehow. So everyone is different. Some people really like to use a paper goal planner, or you could use a digital goal planner. I kind of, I hop between 2. I kind of use them both together, but you have to track your progress somehow. Otherwise, you're not going to grow, because you're just going to continue to get stuck in this circle of not knowing what areas are working for you, not knowing what things need improvement, not knowing, how your goals are doing, if you're moving along and making progress like you're supposed to reach your goal. And you're not going to be able to, in the middle of reaching that goal, you're not going to be able to adjust and tweak and make those little tiny adjustments that you need to do in order to reach your goal along the way, because you are going to have to make those adjustments, because maybe you broke it down and you're working on something, but you've given it time and it's still not working. So now you need to reevaluate. Okay, why is this not working? Can I do something differently? I've been tracking it, so here's what I'm doing. Can I tweak this a little bit? Can I do, come at it from a different angle, or do I need to work on a different way to reach this goal? So you're not going to be able to see what's working and what's not, and to be able to, fix it or adjust it from there if you're not tracking. So track your progress with some sort of a digital or paper goal planner. If you prefer digital, we just talked about Trello. I love Trello. And it's really easy to create Trello boards. And, I have so many Trello boards, it's kind of ridiculous, but I love Trello. But if you prefer a paper planner, I do have a free printable planner, and I have a training that goes along with it to help you brainstorm and brain dump and break down those goals. And you can even use that to create your own Trello board if you want. And you can grab that over at abundantmomlife.com/goal planner. And I also have a free Simplify Your Goal Planning Master Class and Guidebook that I kind of referred to earlier over in my Abundant Mom Life for Network Marketers Facebook community. And that will help walk you through those discovery questions. They're in there to help you uncover goals that are both purposeful and vision-led for your business, and also unique and authentic to you and the vision that you want to have for your business and how you want your business to look and your life to look as well. So I would love to have you join me over inside that group as well.
Oh my goodness. I am so excited for all of these ladies who are getting to hear this. I truly believe that this is going to be a game changer for so many people. I mean, for me too. I have never heard the SMART goals being done this way. And this is just such a more powerful and, like you said, purposeful way of doing goal planning and setting goals. I love to talk about soul goals and, those purposeful goals that, are vision led. That's exactly what a soul goal is. And when you look at it from that angle and you break it down in that way, you're not just letting those visions and those desires sit inside of you. You're going to now be able to actually take those and put it into action to actually see them come into fruition, which I think a lot of the times when we are looking at our goals and we're looking at our dreams and our desires, a lot of the times we just don't know how to get there. And so doing it this way will actually give people, like you said, a roadmap how to go from this desire that's in my heart, this soul goal, these purposeful visions that God has given us, and turn them into something that we can actually accomplish with real steps. We have to take that practical piece and apply it too, which is super, super important. So this is so good. I am so excited to go do this for myself and have all of the ladies here be able to apply this into their businesses. Thank you so much, Melodie, for sharing this with us today.
Thank you so much for allowing me to serve your audience.
Of course. Is there anywhere else that they can hang out with you besides your Facebook group? Is there anywhere else that we can, get more Melodie?
Sure. So you can check out my podcast. I'd love to have you subscribe and follow over there at Abundant Mom Life for network marketers. And I also have a website that you can check out some freebies over there. I have a course that's a productivity course and other ways. I have a blog. So that's abundantmomlife.com.
Perfect. And I will get those linked in the show notes. So be sure to go subscribe to Melodie's podcast, go get in that Facebook group so we can all start to live more abundant lives that are going to be driven by vision and purpose. And that is just my jam. So I am so excited. Thank you so much again, Melodie. And I cannot wait to see all of these ladies be able to apply this into Girlfriend, did you love that episode or did you love that episode? Let me know. Take a screenshot, put it in your Instagram stories, and tag me at @TiffanyWen. The more that we can share the love of this podcast, the more women that we are going to help. And the more women that we help, the more women we're going to see walking around being audacious about their ambition and glowing unapologetically. Would that not be the kind of world that you want to live in? I know I do. So make sure you're subscribed to this show and make sure you leave me a review. Come hang out with me on Instagram in between episodes, and I will chat with you again real soon. Love you.